So I played, just got back from vacay, and by got back, I mean 2 weeks ago. And on vacay, I played some Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, because that is a great game to jump into and play. There's some co-op racing there. I also played probably about a few hours worth of 2 Point Hospital, which I really enjoy. A nice little fun business sim game, kind of. So I've been enjoying that. I played a little indie game called Whiskey Mafia Leo's Family, which I will discuss a little bit more later because it was interesting. And the other game that I started playing on accident, I meant to get back into Ghost of Tsushima, or Ghost of Tsushima, I believe I was supposed to say it anyway. But I've been playing some Crusader Kings 3. This game is a masterpiece. It is a wonderful, grand scale strategy game of basically taking over territory, conquering territory. It is everything that I love about strategy games in general. And I never played Crusader Kings 2 because games just felt too smart. Right?
Really?
Yeah, they felt
You're
too smart.
saying that.
Yeah, they felt too smart.
You're a pretty smart guy.
I wouldn't say that.
I wouldn't say it either, I guess.
But you did.
They were too smart. I used to play Hearts of Iron a little bit, and I kind of fell out of with it because I thought it was just too smart, even though I understood all the systems. With this, I feel like I can get a better grasp of things, and that's kind of helped. But also the game is just wonderfully developed. This isn't like Civilization where you see a little bit like it, where you see the animation of guys fighting or stuff, but it's mostly just about the strategy you get to set up, schemes, murder schemes, abduction schemes. You get to basically take titles. If you conquer counties, you become a count. If you take over a duchy, you become a duke or a duchess of that territory, and you accumulate these titles. And as you grow territory, you accumulate new titles. And you can hand these titles out to other people, to your vassals, and they can pay you, tax and different stuff like that. You can obviously get married. There's 4 different. You can be heterosexual, homosexual, asexual, and bisexual. And all the characters in the world can be too.
Okay.
And that basically affects, your relationship with them. If you're trying to court someone, it kind of determines the likelihood of fertility to try to have an heir for your throne and different stuff like that. But it's great, man. It's just great. You can literally, and it's terrible because you can literally have, like it was back in the day where, like I have in mind, I married a new lady because my old lady died giving birth to my twins, right?
Nice.
And so...
Can you name your kids?
You can.
What did you name them, Jeremy? I want to know.
Well, I got thrown off by you saying nice.
Wait, why did I say nice? Because your wife died.
Yes.
And you got a new broad.
So you can't. So you can name your children.
Yeah, right. I would really love for you to edit that out specifically. My wife is pregnant and having a kid. I did not even think about that. I would really like it.
I thought it was funny.
Don't delete it.
So.
Oh God.
So on the video premiere, no less. Unbelievable. But yes.
It could have been anyone saying it.
It could have been anyone. But yes, so my old broad died, and then my new broad, she's pregnant, but she has a child from a previous marriage, from being married to this other guy that owns land. Oh. So, but because of how it is, how it's all misogynistic and stuff back in the 800s, so the little baby boy is the heir to the land, so he actually runs the land. Mm-hmm. But I'm married to his mommy. Now, if something was to happen to this infant, mommy would inherit the land.
Which would be your land.
Which would become my land because I'm a male.
This sounds devious.
It does sound devious. And I will say I have not tried to execute this yet.
Yet, keyword.
But all the different things like that, there's so much depth to it. It's just a great game. And again, I've probably put 7 No, I'll probably put more than 7. Probably I'm somewhere like probably 12, 15 hours into it. I didn't plan on playing this game that long. I just planned on trying it out, seeing what it was.
Right, right.
And I got hooked in, which is the worst thing. When you're like trying to play another game because you want to finish it.
Right.
And you're like, let me just try this out. And then you're like 20, 30 hours later, you're like, I can't put this down. So
Yep.
that is what I have been playing.
Now, this sounds like a game that I definitely cannot play because it is too smart for me. I've tried games like this, but a game that I would love for you to come with an update every single level. I want to hear what happens to that little kid.
Sure.
Now, you talked about the game a bunch. I still don't understand what you're actually doing. Do you, like, just start off as, like, Jeremy?
So it depends.
Like, do you make you're just a regular dude and he's already a king? Or is he...
Yeah, you take basically control of a historical figure. So
Okay.
it could be a king or
like a real life king already? Okay,
yeah.
so it is historical.
So it could be
accurate.
like King William or something
Okay.
of like that. Or you could also take over maybe like a duke or something like that.
Okay.
I took over, I forgot his name, but he was basically the chief of chief of a country, or not country, but county kind of pretty much,
Okay.
in Africa. And he himself, you usually have these things, if I'm remembering right, you usually have small things like barons or counties, or baronies or counties, and then you have, it grows to become these duchies, and the duchies can become, countries, and the countries can become empires, or like it extends like that.
Yeah.
So you always have a liege, or basically a supervisor.
Right.
So I was playing this guy that's the chief of the Fanti people, who is within the empire of the Ashanti people in Africa, right? And so my plan is to eliminate all my other rivals in the Ashanti so I can become the king of the Ashanti people.
Okay.
And then what you can do with that is you expand your empire more and more and more and more and
So
more.
this is, not to cut you off, this is worldwide? Because in my mind, I had
Yes,
considered
there's
it
a
like
lot
a
of-
Western European type of
There is, but
medieval.
it
But you're
goes
talking about
both
you're in
ways.
Africa.
I'm in Africa.
So it's like multiple
Yes.
continents it
Yes.
spans.
There's Western Europe, there's Eastern Europe, there's Africa, there's the Middle East.
And you're talking about marriage and kids. You keep playing?
Yeah, so what happens is that, it reminds me of, I talked before about that game, The Guild, too, right?
It sounds
It's
like...
a dynasty method like that, to where your main guy, like when my guy dies, if I have an heir,
you just take over him.
I will take over as the heir.
Because then he'll be the same spot you were in.
Yeah.
And if you don't have an heir, game just over. That was like your little run.
Yes. But you have to always make sure that your heir it actually has heir to something. So that's why it's really important about titles and all that stuff.
Okay.
Because you have to make sure your heir has a rightful title to your domain or your land or your empire. Because other people can have claim to your title,
Right.
and then they might fight you for it, right? And then
This sounds amazing. This sounds really
it's
good,
beautifully
man.
complex.
This sounds
That
really
is
good. So is this
deep.
like all right, more questions here. You can just keep having kids and keep letting the game go as long as you want.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
As long as you do it right, it sounds like.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Like I said, I don't think I can play it because it is definitely too smart, but I hope you keep playing it so I can keep hearing stories.
Sure. It's no problem.
I hope you kill that kid.
I hope not.
I hope you take him out.
Don't do
I'll
it.
tell you what. Here's what I'm gonna say. Homie right now, he's 1 year old. Two's looking like a stretch. You know what I'm saying? Homie's gotta get some tax income. So I'll just put it right there. But that's it for what I'm playing. That is it for what you're playing. We are going to take a quick break, and we will be back with more thoughts and players.